Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you are here for the first time, welcome to my channel. My name is Katarina. Today I am super excited to film this video because I'm going to share with you my eyeshadow palette collection. Eyeshadow palette collection videos are one of my favorite videos to watch on YouTube, so I decided to film one myself. So I will be showing you all of my eyeshadow palettes. I do have some high-end, I do have some drugstore. All of my eyeshadow palettes are cruelty-free, but not all are vegan. There are many palettes I did buy before starting to buy only vegan cosmetics. I decided to sit down here and give you my mini reviews of these palettes. Nothing in-depth, like no swatches or nothing, but just my opinion of these palettes. And I will go through these in alphabetical order. That is just for me the most simple way to go through things. So first is of course A, and I do have one palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I of course do have their Modern Renaissance palette. For many this is the holy grail palette of all. I do like it, but it's not like something I go crazy about. So this is this beautiful warm neutral palette. I think the matte shades are gorgeous. They are so blendable, so pigmented. The shimmery shades are nice also. They are something I definitely prefer with setting spray. Setting spray does make them like a whole new shadows. This is definitely something that it has quite much fallout. If you mind fallout, I wouldn't recommend this palette. I think it's hyped for a reason, but for me, because this is such a warm palette and this is my skin tone, I am very light. As you can see, I'm not like the palest ever, but I am light. So I prefer these warm neutrals when I have just a tiniest bit tan on, but when I do have tan, it's not like all over the year. Oh my god, the renovation started in my neighborhood again. If you have watched my videos, you know that there is a renovation going on and they started again and I cannot do anything about it, but I want to film this video, so bear with me. I hope they finish the renovation soon, so this renovation won't bother my videos very long time. So I do have a couple of new palettes from Barry M, or actually these palettes are not maybe that new, but they are new for me. So from Barry M I do have their Fall in Love eyeshadow palette and Smokin Hot palette. Barry M is a brand from UK, it is very affordable. This one, this Fall in Love, I haven't still used. It has like orange, red, that mustard yellow is beautiful shade. I still haven't used this, but I think I will take this to my weekly makeup basket very soon. Then I have this Smokin Hot palette. This one was a gift I got from Feel Unique when I ordered enough Barry M products. I'm not sure if it was like 3 products or something. It was not PR or anything, but it was a free gift for me. So I wouldn't have bought this myself, and I have tried it once and I did not like it. I'm not going to lie, I think the quality was not that good. The mattes are nice, but the shimmers are not very good in my opinion. There are so amazing shimmers, I just don't want to waste my time on something that is not great. One of my favorite brands what comes to vegan eyeshadows is PH Cosmetics. They have a huge selection of eyeshadows, they are very affordable and they do have a lot of vegan options. Not every palette from them is vegan, but they label it very clearly at their website. So I do have from PH Cosmetics 4 of these small 6-pan eyeshadow palettes. Each of these palettes contains colors from some of their bigger palettes. So when you buy one of these, you can test their different formulations. So I do have here shades Fall Eyes Cool to Go. It looks like this. It has some cool tones. Then I have here shade Neutral Eyes to Go. So it looks like this. Then I do have here shade Dual Effect Universal to Go. This one I do not like it that much. I think they are alright, but these shadows are meant to be used either wet or dry. I don't really like that. I prefer my shadows to be beautiful without wetting the brush. Then I do have here shade 6th edition second trade to go. For me this is maybe the most boring of these. Then a palette from PH Cosmetics I talked about in my yesterday's video and I definitely recommend this to like everybody. This is their Modern Match eyeshadow palette. So it has 28 different matte eyeshadows. The 2 of the top rows are more like neutrals and the 2 bottom rows are more like colorful shadows. I think this is so nice. The quality is very good. They perform beautifully on eyes. They are pigmented, blendable, easy to work with. And I think this is something that if you do not have colorful matte eyeshadows, this is a place to start because it's very affordable. You also get a lot of neutrals. Then if you have watched my videos at all, you know I love Carli Bybel, and I of course do have both of BH Cosmetics and Carli Bybel palettes. The original one is no longer available, and the deluxe edition one won't also be available too long anymore. But as you can see, I have been using this original one a lot. This is a very nice neutral palette, one of my favorite palettes, as you can see. And I also like the deluxe edition one, but I haven't reached out for it as much as the original one, but I definitely do like it. I have hit pan here on the white highlighter shade because for a long time it was my only white highlighter. Overall, this is a beautiful palette. It is very versatile. You can get warm neutrals, like very warm orangey, bronzy looks. You can get like your basic neutrals, gold, brown looks. You can get some plummy, rosy looks. Next, I have here my only natural cosmetics eyeshadow palette, and I just talked about this in my another palette tag video, so this was the palette that surprised me. So this is from Boho Cosmetics. They are a natural cosmetic brand from French. This palette is also vegan, which is amazing. So it has two layers like this. It's a very fun and different looking palette. It's all wood, so it has these earthy vibes. I just love the layout of this palette, and I love the shades. These are beautiful, beautiful shadows. This is something I won from a giveaway. I could never have thought to buy this by myself, and especially because this is quite pricey and the shadows are small, but the quality is so good. Definitely, if you are interested in natural cosmetics, I would recommend you to check this one out. Then I do have here one palette from Ciate London. This is their Olivia Palermo Smoky Suedes eye palette. I believe they have also done another palette with Olivia Palermo. This is the original one, so this is like a rose gold palette. I think Ciate shadows are so underrated. Nobody really talks about this, but the quality is so good. They are so pigmented, creamy, blendable, amazing, amazing shadows. Like this gold here, I mean, I'm not going to swatch all of my palettes, but this is one of the most beautiful golds I have in my collection. Oh my god, I mean, look at that. It's like one of the best limited edition collab releases I have ever seen. And I love the packaging. It's so elegant, it's so sleek, it's so beautiful. Then I have from ColourPop two of their eyeshadow palettes. These are both vegan, but not all of their products are vegan, but everything that is vegan is clearly labeled at their website. So this one is a palette that was made in collaboration with Amanda Steele. I'm sorry, I have no idea who she is, but this palette is called Weekend Warrior, and that's why I bought it. I am definitely a weekend warrior. Probably not this year, but if you have been at DEFCON 1, comment down below. I was last year and one of the best vegans in my life. This palette is definitely something that doesn't get much love in YouTube. This is shades that most people don't love, so it is very cool toned. Another palette from ColourPop that I have is one of their 12 pan eyeshadow palettes. This is I Think I Love You. These colors are right up my alley. My favorite type of makeup look to do is neutral eyeshadow and something shimmery on my lids and 10 bold lips. That's just my type of makeup look. This palette is very beautiful. I haven't used it that much yet. I haven't had it that much, but I have been very pleased with the quality so far. Then I do have three palettes from e.l.f. and e.l.f. is one of my favorite brands ever. They are very affordable, cruelty-free, all vegan. What more can you ask? Unfortunately, I don't think these eyeshadows are like the best quality ever. Two of these eyeshadows I would recommend to a beginner, but overall I think ColourPop is better quality and it is not that much more expensive. But I do still love my matte for matte eyeshadow palette. So the matte for matte I have in original shades. I would like to get some different shades also, like the, I'm not sure what is the second called, Summer Breeze. Yes, Summer Breeze. I would love to get that, but unfortunately that is not on iHerb, and I order my e.l.f. stuff from iHerb mainly, also sometimes from Beauty Joint. But I really do like this palette. This is something I take with me a lot when I travel because it is quite versatile. It has a lot of nude I would need when I'm traveling. I also like this Prism eyeshadow palette, which I have in shade Naked. These are beautiful shimmery eyeshadows. Again, not the best shadows ever, but I would call these very beginner friendly as well as the Matte for Matte palette. These are easy to work with, easy to blend. From this one I would like to get also the Sunset version. I believe that was really the first Sunset palette that was out there, because that has been out there years, but unfortunately that's also not in iHerb. Then I have here one e.l.f. palette that soon gets to go out of my makeup collection. I do not like this. This is their Nude Rose Gold eyeshadow palette. The mattes are good, but I really don't like the shades, and the shimmers in this palette are not that great. In Prism palette I think the shimmers are beautiful and pigmented, but these are that typical glittery drugstore mess. Okay, next I do have here two palettes from Juvia's Place, and I definitely want to get more. I want to get like all of them because they are so affordable for the quality. This one is their original Nubian palette. This one I have not yet tried on my eyes. As I said, these warm neutrals are something I prefer when I have just a tiniest bit tan on, but I bet that this will be one of my favorite palettes at summertime. But this Nubian 2 palette I have been using and I love it. These shades are again right up my alley. I just love how there is like mostly neutral tones, but then there is those pops of colors that I absolutely would need. If I could have only one palette for the rest of my life, I think this palette would most best serve me. Then I do have one palette from Kat Von D, so I do have the Shade and Light Eye Contour palette. This is one of my favorite palettes, and actually today I do have this as my matte eyeshadow, and I'm testing a couple of shimmery loose pigments from an indie brand. This one is very good matte eyeshadow palette in my opinion. It's so versatile, and this is a palette that if you wear mostly neutral shadows, there is like everything you could need to pair with any other palette. A shimmery palette, a mixed palette, eyeshadow pans, loose pigments, this has it all. Obviously if you love more colors, this doesn't have any colorful shades, but the neutrals, so good selection. I have seen some people complaining about this, that it is boring. Yes, it is a little bit boring when you look at it. I mean, it's not that exciting, but it is so good if you need matte shadows with some other shimmer shades or whatever. Okay, then I do have here a palette I do not like, I do not recommend. I think this is just a piece of shit. I'm sorry about my language, I do curse sometimes, so if that's not okay for you, you are definitely at wrong channel. But this palette is just so bad. This was actually in my 2017 10 worst product list. So this is the Pixi by Petra Mesmerizing Mineral Palette in Plum Quartz. I never hear anybody to talk about Pixi shadows, and I'm not wondering why. The quality is just not very good. Like, I don't think I can make them to work with anything. Like, not with setting spray. They go very patchy and ugly and muddy looking with setting spray. Without setting spray, there is just not pigment. I mean, they look pigmented when swatched, but when you put them on eyes, they just blend on nothing. And Pixi is definitely like the more expensive brand in drugstore, but the packaging is just so cheap. Like, if these are this expensive, you would expect a nicer packaging. Then I have here 4 palettes from theBalm. I do have here their Shady Lady Special Edition palette. This one hasn't been around in quite a while, but I really like this palette. It has only shimmery shades, very neutral. So this is something I use in combination with some matte palette. These 2 deeper ones are like very bad quality. They are not pigmented and they are quite hard and rough, but all of the other shades are very creamy pigmented, beautiful satiny shades. They are not like crazy metallic, but they are beautiful satins. I like all shimmery palette. I can take it and use it with a matte palette, but that one I really don't like. If I have, let's say, Urban Decay Naked 1 palette was something that I decluttered. It did have some mattes, but then there was not enough mattes to complete the look, if you know what I mean. So I prefer my palette to be either nice mix of both, or completely shimmer or completely matte. Then I do have here the theBalm Meat Matte Nude palette. This was one of my first eyeshadow palettes. I think this was my second one after the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I have used this a lot. There is a huge dent in this white matte Malloy shade. And I also do have here the theBalm Meat Matte Trimony palette. This one is maybe more popular than the Matte Nude one, and I'm not wondering why. I think these are easier shades to wear. But I still haven't been using this quite that much because I do have quite much matte shadows, and this is just not something I usually reach for the first. I think I really should put this to my weekly makeup basket. I think the quality of the Balm matte eyeshadows is really good. They are very pigmented, very blendable. I think they are easier to work with than, let's say, Kat Von D shadows. I do have here the Balm Watch 2 palette. So it is a multitasking palette. It has 9 eyeshadows, a highlighter, a bronzer and 2 blushes. It also has 2 cream blushes, but mine are all tried out and I don't use cream blushes anyway, so I don't care about those. This is my traveling palette and I don't know if you can see it, but I have hit pan on this highlighter. This is basically the same thing than the Mary Luminizer highlighter, and this bronzer here is exactly the same thing than Bahama Mama. That is my favorite product to contour, so when I travel I don't have to take my Bahama Mama and my Mary Lou because I have this palette, and I like that in this palette you get a warm blush and a cool tone blush. Usually I take this palette and also some neutral blush because as you can see I'm a neutral blush girl. The shadows are something I don't love that much. I usually take some eyeshadow palette also with this one, but they are alright. I have also traveled with only this palette, but the face powders here are the reason I love it. Then I have here one eyeshadow palette from Too Faced, so I do have their original Chocolate Pearl palette, and this is one of my all-time favorite palettes. But I must say that I don't think Too Faced is the most consistent brand with eyeshadows. Like, I have had 3 of their eyeshadows. I have this, and I also have had their Boudoir Eyes and their I believe it was the return of Sexy, the old palette that is no longer available, and it was all shimmery. I really didn't like those 2 palettes, especially the Boudoir Eyes. I think the quality was not really good, and when we are talking about this expensive brand, you really would accept more equal quality. But this original Chocolate Pearl palette is one of my favorite palettes. It was my first high-end palette purchase. It's just so beautiful. I love the combination of these golds and these burgundy shades. This shade Marzipan here is like one of my favorite eyeshadows like ever. It's so beautiful all over the lid, especially combined with those burgundy shades. I just love it. But yes, this is my only palette from Too Faced. I will not buy more and I'm not happy with the way that the company is going. Then I have here 2 palettes from Urban Decay. So this is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes ever, if not the favorite. I think this is the favorite because it has such a big sentimental value to me. So this is their Naked Smoky eyeshadow palette, and I know that everybody seems to hate this palette. Like, I watched so many YouTube videos, so many declutter, so many collection videos, and people say, I hate this palette. I also didn't like this in the beginning because I was not that much into cool tones, but I actually do like them now, and I don't do them too often, but when I do, I'm definitely going to grab this palette. If you have been at my channel before, you have heard this million times earlier, but I like going hardcore events. Sometimes I listen to hardstyle, but mostly hardcore, and when I'm going out for a party, I'm going to do a smoky, very heavy look. I haven't gone in a party for a while, but if I'm going at some time, I will do a get ready with me using this palette and putting on full heavy face of makeup and dressing up. This is this cool toned palette, but you can also do warm tones with it. Actually, the look I have mostly been doing with this palette is where I use this gold shade in my lid. It is a beautiful gold. One of my favorite golds in my collection. So I do have here the Ciate gold, and this is the Urban Decay gold. So it is a little bit more lighter, but it is a stunning gold. I like this gold much more than the one that was in Naked One palette. This is definitely one of those non-vegan palettes or non-vegan makeup products I will not give up ever. And that's why I will be never able to do an all-vegan makeup collection video. Actually, story time. When we came back from DEFCON 1 last year, our package was lost in Copenhagen because we had to change flights. I was so devastated because I was afraid that I lose this palette. Thank God we got the package back and I got my palette back. Another palette I do still have from Urban Decay is the Gwen Stefani palette. This is a beautiful palette. Again, same thing than with the Ciate London Olivia Palermo eyeshadow palette. I think this is a good collab. I can see that Gwen Stefani had her fingers in this palette because she named most of the colors. It's mostly neutrals, but there is also some nice pops of color. Then I do have here a one palette from Finnish brand We Care Icon, so it looks like this. This is exactly the same layout than Urban Decay Naked Basics palettes, and there is a logo of Worldwide Fund for Nature, I think. So each time when you buy these palettes or from this brand, they are going to donate a little bit for this organization, so that's cool for nature. I really like this palette. I bought it just this year and I have been using it quite much. Shimmery shadows are very shimmery, very glittery. Not everybody's alley, but I think they are beautiful. This gold here, like gold is one of my favorite eyeshadows. If you don't notice, I swatch all the gold ones, but it's beautiful. It's not like as stunning as these here, but it's just so glowy and sparkly and beautiful. Okay, so those were all of my pre-made palettes, and I also just very quickly want to show you my C palette. So I do have here a C palette and I do have their Makeup Geek eyeshadows. So I do have mainly foiled eyeshadows, and then I do have here one shade. This here is called Anarchy. So it is their normal eyeshadow pan. I don't reach for them that much, maybe because I don't have matte shades in this palette, so I really should buy more Makeup Geek shadows and fill this palette in. I don't know what I should think about C palette. I know they messed up big time, and I don't know how they have behaving lately. I mean, I have bought this palette earlier and I'm going to keep it, but I don't know if I want to buy a new C palette because I don't think it's very cool to attack your customers like that. So I don't know. If you have any information about how the owner of the C palette has been lately behaving, please let me know. I think one reason why people buy still from C palette even after the controversy is the fact that we don't know that much options. So if you do know, please let me know in the comments. Okay, so that was my cruelty-free, quite realistic, but still quite big eyeshadow palette collection. I think it's definitely more than normal people's have, but in YouTube world, not too much. Definitely something that I am able to still use all of these palettes, even if it is quite much. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please put thumbs up, and see you in my next video. Bye bye.